So I'm just gonna run through the PowerPoint and just touch on some things extra. Speak up if you have any questions. Yes.
Do you have to have 3 rings to do this?
No, you don't, but thank you, Jason.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just to keep content super simple. Scripts to give you hooks that you should be using on social media, things that work, things that are resonating with people. Outside of a content studio or a content shoot, you can just do it while living your life. Same thing, so you don't need like a professional camera necessarily. Sometimes it's nice, but I use my phone for plenty of content shoots and it works just as well. And a lot of the times people like that because it is what their stuff looks like and it looks real. Which people are craving right now with all the AI that they're seeing there. Okay, so we're just gonna go through some simple moments like throughout your daily life to give you B-roll, stories, any content, months worth of stuff that you can put in a content library. Okay, so here are a couple options. So Misha, I know we talked about this yesterday, but just even like a walking video of you taking steps, walking your favorite trail, is, yep. Kelly's strutting down the walkway right now. You can take a video of that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So the daily walk is 10 seconds. I recommend taking 10-second clips whenever you can. You can always cut that down, but it just gives you wiggle room so that you're not taking a 3-second clip and then you can only use it for certain stuff. But a 10-second clip lets you cut it down so you can put it in a compilation video or you can have it on its own. And I just like to put some text over a walking video. There's so many options online. I can send you options too. That's one thing that you're doing probably every day, walking up to an open house. Beautiful neighborhoods rolling by. So just when you're driving or in the passenger seat, because you probably shouldn't be recording when you're driving. But you can, when you're going through like a nice neighborhood, just roll down your window and like take a 10-second clip of just driving through it. And then you could say something like, oh, this could be your neighborhood if you move to Lakeville, Minnesota. And it's a good like searchable tool for people because people want to look up when they want to move somewhere. They're looking up, what is it like to live in Lakeville, Minnesota, things to do in Lakeville, Minnesota. So that gives you opportunity to be more searchable and show up. More than just look at this listing, it's look at this beautiful neighborhood. So that's a good option. One of my favorites is like local highlights. So rather than Googling a stock image of your favorite cafe, if you go there often enough, take a picture of your drink, take a picture of the menu, of the table, like something real that is noticeable that you took it rather than pulling a stock image off the internet. I like seeing that. I like doing it. It's something that like a tablescape is super easy and you can always have. And if you just label it as this is Tapestry Coffee, great. Then you have that for a local highlight at a later date. Same with like dinner spots. If you take like short little video clips, you could create a whole reel of this is my night out at this speakeasy in Lakeville. So there's lots of opportunity with local highlights that you can do, but I think the best, like if you rate something to this, I tried this new coffee drink. This is what I rated. This is what you should order. It just shows people you and people want to hear your voice, people want to see your face, makes things more real. And then just like in between moments, I think we'll touch on this a little bit more. Yeah, kind of everything that I just went through. A trending audio always helps as well, which you can find on Instagram or Facebook. Okay, I'll touch on this. So grabbing like, if you have a mount in your car, you can set up your phone and then you're driving, you can cut that into different clips. You can do talking videos. I just talked to Misha about this, like the music that you're listening to in the car on the way, like, oh, this is what gets me hyped to go show a house. Or, and then you could put a trending audio over it, or you can use the audio that you had in your car. If you had like, oh, super funny story on this showing, let me tell you about it. And then you're mounted in your car, just showing what your experience was. And then I would say like, if you're getting ready in the morning, like putting on your makeup, that's weird, but a fun thing that people like to watch if you just wanna, like, I watch those videos all the time, if you wanna sit and talk to people or just do your makeup, or you could put it in a compilation video, here's my morning routine, and it's like you going for your walk and you're walking and then you're doing your makeup and then you go get your coffee and it's this compilation video. Then you have that walking clip for a separate video, you have the coffee for a local highlight, and then you have a compilation video. So there's 3 videos right there, just on simple moments throughout your day. So those are just like the passive moments, but I would say if you're at an open house, if you could set up a phone and like you're in the living room, show you fluffing a pillow for 10 seconds or staging a room, then that's something that you could dim the exposure on and put text over it when you want to post later. It's a 10-second clip, but videos are always going to perform better than if you were to just post a picture of you sitting there with your coffee in the living room. But if you are actively doing something, people want to watch, people are engaged, and you're putting text over that. I would say like keys on the counter, that's another one, opening the door, you walking out of the door. I just posted a video for saying of her walking out of the door and there was text over it and it got a couple thousand views. So it's just super easy stuff that you can pull, but if there's video clips of you that's random B-roll, you can always use that for different purposes. You can use it for multiple different videos across a whole year worth of content. So you'll always be able to have that. And then if you put it in a Google Drive and you say that like, this is my B-roll content, this is my like listing photos, if you have all your content in one place saved, then it's easy to pull from when you want to post and you don't have to think about it like, oh, I really should be posting today. What am I gonna put out there? And what am I gonna take a picture of? But if you're passively in a meeting and it's just on your brain to say, oh, I'm meeting with these clients, I'm gonna take a picture of my listing presentation setup of the table. And then I just have this for the future. Nobody knows if I did it today or if I did it 2 weeks from now. But if you're putting that out there, then it shows that you're on a day that maybe you're not doing so much. I'll get that.
You mentioned, say, Google Drive, would Google Photos, albums, or Apple Photos, albums be as efficient, or is there a reason I would put it?
The only reason I use Google Drive is because it's shareable and it's super easy, where I have everyone that I run social media for upload stuff into Google Drive and then I pull it at different times. So for example, like the Steer Routine just had an event and it was Farm Day, and that's a separate album that I pull photos from. And I can pull photos from Farm Day and say, oh, this was such a fun night, giving back to the community. 2 months from now, I could also pull the different photos from that and say, wow, really looking back, missing summertime in the Farm Day in Belle Plaine. Are you gonna go? And then a year later, are you planning on heading to Farm Day this year? This is what it looked like last year. Yeah, there's 3 different posts from just one event that you're taking content at. Yes.
When you were talking about, say, showing yourself fluffing a pillow or whatever, do you usually recommend like a tripod or some sort of thing to do, cause I'm thinking, trying to prop it up and then of course the wrong angle. And so
Yeah, I mean,
the right tools probably make a big difference.
yes, and you don't necessarily need it. Like I went a really long time without using a tripod and I would find like a stack of books and set up my phone, or like my Stanley makes the perfect tripod. If I like set that up and I just put my phone up against that, it's not a big deal like what the angle is as long as you're in the video.
Yeah.
So if you like have it set up on a coffee table facing the couch and you just walk in frame, fluff a pillow, walk out of frame, then you can use that to put text over it. So that's a good option, but if you're looking for a tripod, they're like $50 on Amazon. Those are the fancy ones that like have remote controls and they follow you if you want to do it. You can use those tools, or you can just use it as a simple tripod.
The trouble with that is that you need to learn how to use it.
Yes.
And I have one and I have not learned how to use it.
Okay, well, maybe we can learn together.
Maybe we should.
And we can walk through it. But even just like simple tripods too work just as well. But I would recommend like, if you don't feel comfortable holding your phone when you're driving, you probably have a mount in your car to be able to do those kinds of videos, and Sarah does a great job with.
You're not usually driving in those, are you?
When I'm talking, no, but I've done some where my mount, I can have it like where it's easy for me to see if I'm driving, but then I can lift it up. I don't remember what it is, I'd have to look, but, sometimes I'll just put it in the selfie mode and hit record.
Mhm.
Like I have a little bit of B-roll stuff I haven't used yet doing that, but if I'm like talking to the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're just in the car driving, like sipping your coffee,
Yeah.
again, 10 seconds of that, posting it. Like, you know, it's hard to tell what's gonna land with people, because you could post a video, like 30-second video, you give me like the best advice in the world that nobody has ever talked about, and it will get 30 views. And you post a video of you drinking coffee and talking about how bad your coffee tastes that day, you'll get thousands and thousands of views. So it just matters like how shareable something is, like, I love posting stuff that, and I think what resonates most with people are stuff that aren't directly real estate content, but if you're posting something like, oh, tag your friend that you want sitting next to you in the passenger seat drinking coffee with you, that is super shareable, and that people will send that and save it. And I send that stuff to my friends all the time, and I'm giving them more like views and boosting the algorithm for that creator, whether you're a real estate agent or not. So stuff like that, that isn't necessarily real estate focused, is a great tool.
Okay, I have a stupid question. Grace.
Yeah,
So this tag your friend, like I love that idea.
yeah.
Do you put that in
I would put that on the video.
on the video?
Yeah.
So that's what people are seeing. Okay,
Yeah,
that's,
because that's what's gonna get people to stop their scroll. If you're just posting a video of you drinking coffee with nothing over it, and then it's all in the caption.
that's what I was.
I'm not as inclined to read the caption, but if I just see a short amount of text on my screen. And also pay attention, like what gets you to stop your scroll? Like I now use that, like when I'm thinking about posting for agents, I'm like, okay, this stopped my scroll, why? What was the hook? What did they do? And a lot of the times, like the hook is some sort of movement of them like buckling their seatbelt. And my eyes are like, oh, okay, I'm hooked on this video now. So it's those short, like the first 3 seconds matter a lot. And your trending at audio matters a lot, but if you can find content that's shareable and savable, like guides to your local city when you're driving through neighborhoods, walking around downtown Lakeville, you post that as a guide, I'm probably gonna save that for reference if I wanted to go try a coffee shop, or if I'm searching, I wanna move to Lakeville. That's what I'm finding, and comments and saves matter way more than your follower count or your like count. And that's what's gonna boost your posts on the algorithm. So kind of like I said, it's just like setting down keys, there's a fun trend that I've seen of just passing keys, and it's for different reasons, right? So like, oh, I just bought my first house, I just sold like my mom's house, like my childhood home, or whatever that big event is in their life, and you touch on that, that's gonna touch like emotionally for people, and they'll say that, maybe send it to people, and it's literally just passing keys, and you could flip that over and over. So that's a good example. Working at your desk at the Tammy Bryce B-roll event, we did B-roll clips of people talking on a Zoom, typing on their computer. If you set up with your Stanley, put your phone up against your water bottle and just type on your computer, again, text over it. That's super popular right now. I just read something too, that butter yellow is trending right now, and it's getting people to stop because it's very luxury looking, but not as harsh as white. And it's very nostalgic for people, so that butter yellow text over is what's stopping people right now. And the only reason I read that is because I saw the butter yellow and I stopped, and I didn't even know why until I read through, and I was like, oh, that makes sense why I'm stopping, because I'm seeing it everywhere. And so paying attention to what you're seeing and then utilizing that is a big help, and a lot of like the text over a photo is doing super well. I'm seeing carousel posts of the same photo over and over with text over it. It could be your headshot and you just swipe through, same photo, just text over it. So super easy to be able to pull that random content.
If you're gonna do something like working at your desk, I mean, do I need to go find a clean desk to sit at for that, or?
No, I always move stuff out of the way.
Uh-huh.
and then do it and then put my crap back.
Yeah.
Well, I like the comments about Burger King.
Yeah, that was
gonna say,
awesome.
like, you could always, like,
Hungry.
say something like that, and then that'll get people to laugh, like, I saw Tina commented, laughed
Yeah.
about that, like.
Well, and I saw it and I'm like, oh crap, I wasn't paying attention. I should have moved that cup out of the way. And so but it confused Jason. He texted me, he's like, what is this? And I said,
I thought somebody had commented
oh, yeah.
that had
Oh.
also blocked me because I
Oh,
couldn't
and
see
you
the
couldn't see
comment.
it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like somebody had said, well, you got a Burger King cup in your thing, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what kind of idiot said that? And I couldn't see
That was
it,
me,
so then
yeah.
I wanted to know really what kind of idiot.
Yeah, no, and you could always like make comments like that too with the video clip, you could just be working and then be like, oh yeah, working to put off cleaning my office or something like that. So you could always spin it in different ways so that you can use the clip over and over.
Say something about Albert Einstein. Who was notorious for having to shove
Yeah.
the desk.
There you go, yeah, or like I would win an award at my office for,
Mhm.
having a cluttered desk or something like that, something.
Who would chat?
I won the luau, like the first year we did the
Uh-huh.
luau, I
Yeah.
won neatest desk, and I was like, do you people know me at all?
Because you hide it for pictures.
That's exactly.
That's the point, Nish, there was no other person, I just,
Yeah,
there
no.
was.
There wasn't,
That's
I
why I-
also had that thought, and then I read more into the comments.
Gotcha.
But yeah, like loading your open house signs in and out, and you could do, like, I talked a lot about this with an agent, doing videos like, oh, what the reality is of being a realtor, and it's like. Staking in an open house sign in the rain, or loading up in like open house signs in your car, what it looks like in between showings, in between open houses, all of that stuff. People wanna see the behind the scenes, people wanna see the reality, especially with real estate, I feel like it's so misconstrued, like what the reality is. And so I think it's a good opportunity for you guys to showcase your value and what you give to people and what you bring to the table, especially as an AI. People think they can do it themselves, or people think they can use ChatGPT. It showcases what you actually do for them. So it's a good opportunity for you to share that and for them to see it because they want to see stuff like that.
And I think like just mentioned, like doing it in the rain, you don't have to wait for that opportunity, just go put something in your yard on a rainy day.
Yeah.
Or if you really wanna get fancy, do an ice bucket challenge, and then later. Stake something in your thing and say the same thing, they won't know that you got wet from the ice bucket challenge.
Exactly, like shuffling the driveway, anything like, and you could put a compilation together of that and say, this is what I do as a realtor, or just like. Staking in an open house sign, there's your Beagle, put audio over it, put text over it. And you can use it for different reasons. You can always like, if you're using a video for a certain purpose and you're talking in it, you can always mute the audio and use it for something else. I've done that so many times with the same video over and over, and nobody's paying attention. Oh, I saw this clip before. Nobody's looking, so don't worry about it. Okay, a couple of just like tips for angles, certain shots, what's working in social media right now. But when you're walking through a house, instead of like holding it out, like how we were all told to like 5 years ago, like hold it at eye level, give people what you're seeing, give people your point of view, and you wanna see like different levels of it. So when you're on your phone, I'll say for an iPhone, for example, if you're giving a POV video shot and you're filming, you could film it from the same angle. And then if you hit like the zoom button, the 2x button, then you're filming it from that. And then that gives you separate clips, but then you can also put it together and showcase a listing and then later use it for something else. So if you're getting multiple point of views of the same thing, that's a perfect way to give you a great content base and a foundation to utilize over and over again. So keeping the focus, kind of like I was saying, but if you put up a shot of you working at your computer and then over your shoulder, you maybe ask someone else to film this for you or set up a tripod over your shoulder of you typing, and then one from like behind you, there's again 3 different video shots for that. But yeah, just random things throughout your day. It's really just shifting your mindset of like, what am I doing and how can this be a social media moment of you putting flyers out on a table, you opening a door, like unlocking it, walking through a door, walking out of a door. It's just little shifts in your mind to think, oh, this would be great for social media. And even if it isn't, maybe it doesn't work out, at least you have the video for it and maybe you'll wanna use it later on. But I would err on the side of filming a lot of what you do so that you just have it. And I will say too, like, it's easier as a social media manager, it's easier when there's already videos in place that you can figure out a way to swing and use rather than pulling stock images or trying to come up with a reel or trying to last minute to film something. It's easier to just pull from a bank of what you already have, and that often performs better too. Right. Yeah, and then just voiceovers too, like we talked about driving through a neighborhood, if you are like, wanna use that for, this is what it could look like, or I love this neighborhood in the summer, everything's growing, everything's looking so lush. You could also use that for a different time, giving some sort of market update or a neighborhood highlight. You could walk through a neighborhood, those are super popular right now, like walking through a neighborhood and saying why it's sought after. And that positions you, like, not that you're necessarily selling in that neighborhood, but as an expert of the city. And it shows that you know what you're talking about in Lakeville or Bloomington or wherever. Okay. Like I said, getting a wide shot, medium shot, and then the close up is a great way to get different clips and then also showcase dynamic. That's like gets people watching it so that you're like clipping it 1 to 3 seconds. And then if you do anything longer than 3 seconds, you're gonna lose people. So if you're in a compilation, like I'm lost. I don't wanna watch the same thing for more than 3 seconds. Like if you're making a compilation, click through it and people are gonna watch it. Also, if you go faster, then people watch it multiple times because they can say, oh, no, I wanna see that. Go back, boost your views, boost the algorithm.
I'm just, how sad is it that we can only pay attention for 3 seconds?
I know it is a little eye-opening when you're like, oh, I have to be hooked in the first 3 seconds, like this is what it's about, you know? Yeah, it is crazy.
It's getting some interesting.
Yeah, like I said, just buy a cheap, mount or on your laptop. I think you can buy ones that literally connect to your laptop that go over and then you can type on your keyboard and then it'll be that point of view. So if you have like multiple different tools, you don't have to be the most expensive thing. Like I said, you can use a gimbal, but those are only necessary if you want to do walkthrough videos. And to be honest, I can always tell when someone's using a gimbal and it's following them, like it's just a little awkward sometimes. So I think it's a lot easier if a gimbal like for like someone that's filming you rather than you just setting up filming yourself, right? I'd rather you just hold the phone and walk me through the house at that point, like in selfie mode rather than just setting up and then having some robot follow you. But yeah, like a time lapse too, and then you can speed things up so that you just have that, like when you're driving, you could easily just time lapse it, say just pulling into a show, so. And everything's always editable, like I always err on the side, like the Tammy Bryce thing, we have 30-second clips. And I'm like, just if you have 5 30-second clips, just in one video, you could get 5 different videos out of this thing because you're doing 5 different things. So again, err on the side of show me more. Okay, so I'm gonna go through like camera settings, what works best for specifically real estate agents if you're doing listings. I've done a video like this before, but I just wanted to reiterate, like, if you don't wanna get a professional camera, if you wanna use your phone, if you're comfortable using your phone, this is how to make it easier. So I'm gonna go through iPhone camera. Do any of you guys have Samsung, or is it all iPhone?
You should have.
Nisha's got a,
Okay, well, we do have Android, but I can't speak to that as much. So if you go in your settings, and I'll show you guys pictures of this too. If you go into camera in your settings. And you'll wanna go into record video. You'll wanna change it to 4K at 30 frames per second. And then if you're in cinematic mode, you can do 1080 at 30 frames per second. I think I have mine set to both 4K at 30 frames per second.
How do you get to cinematic?
Cinematic mode is just on your,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's what I would say like too, when you're doing close-ups, that's kind of like the portrait mode, but for video, so if you're like highlighting a faucet on like the bathtub or something, then you'll wanna do cinematic mode for that, for those different angles.
And you said that should be the 1080.
Yes. And then enhanced stabilization should be on. That helps you, in terms of shakiness of your camera. You wanna turn HDR video off. And then you'll do lock camera on.
I don't see enhanced.
It's under show how formats.
Sorry. Yeah. Sure, enhanced stabilization. Okay, so I have it on. Yep. Okay, sorry.
Got it?
Mhm.
Okay. So, those are the iPhone. Misha, if you wanna screenshot this is what I have for Android. But it depends on the phone. And I can always send this to you too, and then you just do it directly from your camera. Yeah, your settings.
Grace, would you say, so these settings that you're telling us right now?
Yeah.
Do they ever need to change? Like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm gonna go in and, I mean, do we need to know what these things do, or are we just kind of set it and forget it?
I have set mine like that and I forget about it.
Okay.
And I've never touched it again.
Okay.
It just gives you like the best quality. I'll also like when you're uploading to social media, especially for like listed videos and stuff like that, but if most of you're just on vacation and wanting to take a photo too. But I will say there's another tip too, when you're uploading on Instagram, you should see an option to toggle on or toggle off, like keep high resolution video. It says something like that, or keep the, I can try to do it, but there's an option there to make sure that, because sometimes you see reels come through and they're a little blurry, or if like you're posting it. So if you're doing something like that, it showcases, let me see if I think it's under more options, upload at the highest quality. So if you go to upload a video and then you click more options, there's an option to say upload at highest quality, make sure that's turned on. And then that'll make sure that none of your stuff is blurry. Alright. Trying to get him to go bad this week. Okay. Strategic success pillars. So having a good hook is super important. I think Jason Abrams just did a video on this of different hooks that real estate agents should use in videos, but also your captions too. So if you like say start with a bold statement, again, the first 2 to 3 seconds, if you say like, this is how I lost $10,000 on my sale of my home, don't do this, or people are lying to you about this, go into it. If you use a hook like that, I'm gonna watch it probably. That's something that stops me. And again, that's me paying attention to what's stopping my scroll. So, there's a couple good options. I would encourage you, Jason Abrams does quite a few of those types of videos. So I would encourage you to go on his social media and look at what he's posting for that. And it's not necessarily all real estate based too, but if you just see someone doing some sort of hook, it doesn't have to be what you're saying, but sometimes it's like the shake of somebody's ice in their drink, and I hear that, and I'm like, oh yeah. And then it's like a seatbelt buckling, I hear that, and which is so silly that my brain is like so tricked by all this stuff, but I don't know if you guys have watched those restocking videos. Where somebody's restocking their fridge, and I just thought it was satisfying to look at. No, I watched a 1 minute long video of somebody restocking nothing because it was the sound. Like that I was hooked and I was like, wow, all the comments were like, this is so embarrassing. I'm like, yeah, bad. But it is like those, like sometimes it's the audio over what you see. So there's different ways to use those hooks. And then I'll kind of go through like what your caption should look like too on something. I would stay away from having like a super, super long caption. Nobody's taking the time to read that. like I would keep it pretty short and I would always, always, always have a call to action at the bottom. Like message me for if you want a private showing, message me if you want more information on that. Cause you're not gonna get a lead from like one random post and that says, hey, I wanna buy a house. But you might get them in your DMs and then you can start the conversation and all of a sudden they're added to your database now. So you're looking to grow your database, not just like get people to buy houses off of your social media. So, an example of this is before you write an offer, do this, and then you have the body, which is like the information that you're doing. Sometimes I'll put like in the graphic, I'll say, this myth is busted, you need 20% down on the house, and then I don't say anything on the graphic, and then I get them to read the caption, and then I'm like, oh, message me if you want more info. So there's different ways you can do that. But yeah, like what's one thing that you missed on your first home purchase? A great option for this. It's the state fair. I'm planning a bunch of state fair posts right now. And it's like, what's your must have? What is on your yuck list for what sounds affordable? Are you there for the food or are you there for the rides? Like, here's your guide to the state fair. Show up early, like don't go at all. Anything that gets people interacting. And on stories specifically, this is going down a little bit of a rabbit hole. On stories specifically, it's a lot easier for some reason, for some reason, people find it a lot easier to click the question box when you say ask a question or answer a poll than they want to actually message you. So they're still messaging you either way, but you get a lot more engagement if you give them options like, how long have you been living in your house? Less than a year, 1 year to 5 years. People want to click that poll, and then you're like, oh, great, this is a good opportunity for me to message. What do you love about your house? Like, what would you change? Like, blah, 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 all that. To just start the conversation and then get. And the algorithm rewards story responses as well. So anytime like DMs are the highest rewarding for the algorithm to get your stuff seen by more people. If people DM me directly from a post, that's gonna boost it automatically. Okay, like I said, if you're in a compilation, 1.5 to 3 seconds long to keep the energy pretty high. If you're doing a listing video, I would say like you want the best part of the house in the first like 3 to 5 seconds. And you want some sort of movement / audio, like something again to grab the hook, and then you cut. And if you want to showcase other points in the house, you do 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. That's always going to be my rule of thumb. It's just 1 second long clips. And one long one in the beginning to showcase like the best part of the house. Like I said, like I do Google Drive, but I also for my own personal like social media, I create folders in my Apple folder and I just say create a new album. This is a post I want to do. Here's all my options. Here's the content shoot from this day. And then when I go to post something, I go to collections and then boom, I'm right in there and I have all that content library for something that I want to post. And I always take more pictures of the same thing over and over, and my camera roll is so cluttered. But it gives me options because later on, if I maybe don't have a good angle or if I'm in a rush and I just am like walking with my friends and I say, hey, wait, I'm gonna take a picture of this. I take 3 seconds and go boom, 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 boom. And hopefully I got a good one in there. And if you don't, like I would still post it because like people like that kind of content more than stuff. Posting that. And then always use trending audio. You can use original audio or just a song that pairs with whatever you're posting on. I know a lot of people like to use closing time when they get a house closed. Love it, but it is overdone in my opinion. So I think if you just go through the list, it gives you trending audios. Again, that also helps boost it because if you're posting something trending, want to see it. If I'm seeing a bunch of the same audio, I could scroll through and see 10 of the same audio over and over because it's what's trending right now. And it's just different versions of the same video, essentially. But that's the beauty of we're gonna duplicate. And so I think if you're using trending audio and then at a lower volume where you can still hear it, but if you're talking over it, we still want to be able to hear you, but it just helps boost it. So there's something in the background that's not just like when you have a pause, then it's not awkward silence and you can fill that with something. So, yeah. Okay, and then you can also turn on grid lines. Is anyone familiar with the rule of thirds? In photography, kind of. So if you turn on grid lines, it just is a good, like, way to show where you want to put the composition. So if you're taking a photo of some street sign, for example, you'll want to line up that street sign with like one thing, like with one of the lines. If you want to put it on the cross point or one of the three lines, so that that is like the subject matter. It just is more aesthetically pleasing, and I always say stuff, like if you like a piece of photography, I used to suck at taking photos. And I started looking at how people took photos and what I liked to see and how I wanted my like Instagram to look. And then I would save those and I learned how to take those photos, like especially of a tablescape dinner. I love taking photos of that, and it's like rearranging, to me, it's like fun art that I like to do, but taking those photos and like seeing what you like and what you want to showcase on your feed. Um, I will say the feed on Instagram matters a lot more than it does on Facebook, so it depends where you're posting more stuff. But if people swipe to your Instagram, I always say this when I start managing some of these social media, what do you want people to know about you in the first 10 seconds? That should be visible on your Instagram. Like that should be visible on all your social media, but Instagram gives you the power to have story highlights. You can pin 3 items to the top and then the rest of your feed, what do you want it to say, right? Like you want some listings out there because you have to promote that in order to like appease some of your clients. So like, where's my listing? Like I really want to see something about it. So you do have to post some of that, and sometimes that gets great traction. But a lot of the times it's the hyper local stuff that does the best. So I would recommend using like same fonts, same colors, like the same sort of look mixed in there, because you want people to be able to see your 3 to 5 pillars of content, like who you are. And I always say like a good rule of thumb, your feed, what you're posting should be like who you are, and your stories should be what you do. So like that should be your day-to-day things that you're doing. Like if you were to take a photo of your computer and your notebook today that you're in class, that's a great example to put something on your story that you're constantly doing something. And what like who you are would be more so like, here are my leadership lessons, here's what I learned as a real estate agent being in business for 10+ years, or I just saw something randomly the other day, like why you should always choose the rookie agent or whatever, and there was a caption on it that said like, it's not because they're new, it's because like they're super hungry. And that's no dig to like other real estate agents, but it puts you up there too, to say like, this is my niche, this is my differentiator, that you're seeing like a bunch of experienced real estate agents, well, here's where I am, here's how you can differentiate me. So finding that differentiator is super strong position and puts you in a good spot on social media. All right. So yeah, this is just to document everything, every part of your life. You don't have, like, you guys aren't meant to be content creators, like you're meant to be real estate agents. And so if you want to do it on your own and you don't want to hire out for it, this is such a great way to do it. It's so easy, and I know we can get bogged down with like what to write in the caption, what to post, making sure it's perfect. Jason says it all the time, but consistency beats perfection. And as you get more consistent with it, you'll get better and better at it. Like I said, I used to be terrible at taking photos. Now I love taking photos, and I pride myself on taking good photos, even when I'm just with my friends, because I'm like, oh yeah, I got your photos, and now all of their posts are my photos that I've taken of the trip, and I'm like, yeah, I'll take it, it's your photographer.
Yeah.
So like, you just get better at it as you practice it, and once you like start framing your brain to say, I want to take photos of me at this local restaurant, coffee shop, it'll get easier and easier, and just become a part of it. A good way that I do it, I have a food social media app, of course, the foodie. But I know that every time I want to go out, I take a photo of my food and I rank it, and sometimes it's a postable picture and sometimes it looks terrible. But that's like how I trained my brain, and it took me a while to remember, oh, I have to rank this on my app. But now it's a habit, and I get excited to rank a new restaurant on my app. So it's just changing your brain to like fit it in your life, instead of making it something that's like you're getting ready to get ready and wanting to be good at social media, wanting to do content better. But it's just a good way to get your foot in the door, and just posting like 3 to 5 times a week to start, I think is super doable. So to kind of like wrap this up a little bit so that I get you guys out of here a little bit early. But just your day can be your brand if it's showings, closings, a lot of the behind the scenes that I ask for of people is you in the car in between showings, you at a meeting, you running errands, like the random mundane stuff in your everyday life, because people want to see that. And people want to know you, like they want to know that you are a real estate agent, but they want to know you if they're gonna choose to pick you to sell their house, right? They don't care, like you could be saying all the same stuff that a different real estate agent is saying, but they want to know who you are and like if they trust you, and that's how you're gonna get the clients and the leads from them. Oh, I think that's it. Do you guys have any questions? Did I cover everything? We have some extra time, so.
You do a great job with this, and as I'm listening the further we go, the more I'm like, I just am irritated that, and it's just the world we live in, that as a realtor, I also need to be a content creator, because I don't want to be. So I guess what that tells me is I need to hire somebody like you to do it for me, because while it's all interesting to a certain extent, the reality of me taking the time to take a piece of this and a piece of this and that and put it together, first of all, I don't wanna. I've not experienced with it. I'm gonna like play the old lady card or something and say, I just don't know how to do that. So yeah, and I thought it long before, this class, that it irritates me. I just wanna sell some houses. I just wanna work with my clients. Anybody else? Are you that way too? I mean, it can be fun,
Yeah,
but.
I think I like it. I like aspects of it.
Mhm.
What's hard for me, and this helps, just the creativity piece, because I get very bogged down with it needs to be this great value add, and I need to have this message, and I'm trying to be better at just posting lighter, sillier stuff, but still that, like, I feel like I have to sit down and take time out of my day that I don't really have to figure out what that video is gonna be. So the whole B-roll thing, that's why I was like, I want to hear what you have to say about that, because I've done a little bit of that, but I don't have like a library built up. It doesn't occur to me to take a video of pouring my coffee or whatever. So I'm gonna try and be better about that.
Yeah.
But I feel a little bit different than you, Kelly. Like, I didn't get into this obviously
Mhm.
thinking I would be a social media
Yeah,
time thing,
Yeah.
but there's a part of me that does like
Yeah.
it.
there are certain things would be fine with, like off the cuff, like your car videos. That I don't want to do, but I totally could.
They're not off the cuff.
But well, I mean,
Like,
yeah.
look at my phone, there's like 50
Well, that's
versions.
look at, but I'm just saying that it's not a piece taken from here and from here and.
Yeah.
And then, this overlay and, that is where I lose patience, and I don't consider myself to be like a super creative person. I just want it done, and I want someone to do it and have it look pretty.
So, and I don't know if I missed it in the beginning, I had a closing, so I was a little bit late, but, so I use CapCut to edit, not all, but I would say the vast majority. Do you recommend like using a app like that? Or I know you can do editing in Facebook or in Instagram.
I use CapCut.
You do,
Like,
okay.
majority of the time I use CapCut, the only thing I don't use it for is audio.
Yeah. And that's what I learned that from you at some point. And so I generally use audio, but so many of my videos are me talking.
Yeah.
And it's never occurred to me to do audio behind that.
Yeah, but you could turn it down. Too,
Yeah.
Which is really
But
nice.
just so that it's something.
Yeah,
So,
something subtle. And then, I will say right now, I'm trying to get better at this, but Edits is a separate app that connects to Instagram and Facebook. Instagram and Facebook, we love Meta, but they're rewarding people that use Edits and post through Edits instead of, CapCut. So.
That's another app called Edit.
Yep, and it's pretty easy to use. It's pretty much the same thing as CapCut. The other thing I use sometimes is TikTok. The reason I like that is because if I'm using a bunch of different clips and I wanna sync in audio so that the clip switches. That's what I use TikTok for.
I've done that too. I'm not very good at it, but don't you get the TikTok? Or can you download it at a certain point where you don't get the TikTok watermark thing on it?
So I post it publicly and I remove it from my page right away. So that then it downloads to my phone without the TikTok watermark.
Interesting.
Yes. So like literally all my private posts are agents' videos that on TikTok because I post them and I immediately delete it and then I can't save it. I will say to your point, Kelly, it is a little daunting because I think we hear all the time, like if you don't use social media, you will be forgotten. And I do agree with that sentiment to a point. And this isn't your job, right? Like your job is to sell houses. It's not to be a content creator. And I have my own problems with social media from a personal standpoint. The only reason I go down these rabbit holes and I talk about it because it's all I see on my social media. And I mean, it's my job. I'm constantly researching this. I'm constantly seeing what's trending. Like that's just how my brain works because it has to work that way. When I first came here, I remember saying, like, talking about social media, and I said, unfortunately, it's not going anywhere. And I do still agree with that. Like, it is unfortunate that it isn't going anywhere. Jason and I just had this conversation this week about my opinions on social media and how much I dislike it to a certain extent. And I find it fascinating how much it can be a benefit to your business and how, like, when you get invested in that, how fun it can kind of be to watch, like, your engagement, watch your direct messages to make sure that you're doing it. And I think where it can get a little burnout is when you're just posting and then it's like a big thing to post and you don't get a lot of engagement on it. So it is like Dana Gentry says it all the time, like you have to be social on social. And so like I was just saying to Jason too today, the biggest lead generation tool that I see people using, and I'd love to start this, is sending guides. So DM me this and you'll get my guide for free. That gets people in your direct messages. And it can be a guide on like summer patio season in Minnesota, state fair locals guide. It can be a first time home buyer's guide. It doesn't always have to be real estate related. I always recommend being hyper local over the real estate content. Again, it should be an 80-20 balance. And so if you're already posting on social media and if you're already on it a lot, just like throw something out there. And it doesn't have to be super daunting. And Olivia and I talk about this with her social media, but wanting to start it so that it's not like bombarding people right away. You don't want to post 7 times a week right away, but maybe it's like 2 times a week here and there. So that you're getting that engagement when people aren't like, oh wow, and then immediately want to unfollow you because they're seeing too much of you, right? So it's finding that balance and it's finding what works for you. That's why I like doing a class like this because it's how it fits for you guys. And I think we had this conversation at family reunion that you're not supposed to be a social media manager. So how can you make social media work for you? It's not necessarily posting 4 times a day on 7 different platforms like Gary Vee talked about.
Gary Vee talked about like 23 times in a day,
Yeah.
and I was like, who?
Yeah,
I mean, there's no way.
No, yep, and it's really hard, and if you frame your business, and there's people that get all of their leads from social media, and that's great, but you have to be committed and you have to go deep dive into it. And that's just not the reality for most people. Like, it depends on your demographic, it depends on like your age even. Like, if I was an agent, I would probably go all in on social media because I'm already in it, right? Because door knocking, probably not my thing, cold calling, probably not my thing, so I'm like, you know what, let me give this a whirl. However, like, you two have already built your business and have like a referral base, it's just like nurturing your social media to a point where people just remember that you're a real estate agent, and there's that 80-20 balance that you have to strike of 80% personal and 20% real estate content, and I believe that wholeheartedly.
I have a very love-hate relationship with social media,
Yeah.
but I know that it brings me
yeah.
business.
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. Me too. Yeah.
I think my frustration is that it's always changing.
Mhm.
The algorithm's always changing, the video trends are always, like, that's what's hard for
Yeah.
me to
Track of.
keep up
stand
with,
out.
yeah.
And you shouldn't have to keep track of it, because again, it's not your job. And
Right.
that's what I'm here for, so if you ever have questions, like, what's trending this week, like, stop by my office, like, I'm happy to go through stuff, and like, if you worry about putting together a content plan, you and I could meet for 30 minutes and we could put together your plan for June. And have that all planned out, so if you ever are feeling like a month where you don't have a ton of ideas and your creativity isn't flowing, like, you can always meet with me. And set up a plan, and I've done that several times with patients, just to set up a plan and say, here's what you have in terms of content, go use it, and like. Misha, she went through her camera roll yesterday, I'm like, you could use that for social, and she's like, I was just building that to show you something, I'm like, well, great, now you can use it for social media. And so it's little stuff like that, and it can be daunting, but again, like, if you can always meet with me, or we could talk about. What it looks like for me to run your social media. Sometimes I just post the social media content. And Cindy Segna, she handles like all the personal stuff, right? So like it's a balance between that. And I will say that the people that I do social for, the ones that perform the best are the people that send me stuff on a regular basis. When I ask for, can you send me a local highlight that you want to post about? Do you have a picture of this concert that you went to? And I'm gonna post something about it instead of just throwing a random photo out.
Yeah.
It's always gonna perform better and engagement's always gonna be well, so you get what you put into it, is my whole thing, but so. Another question?
I do have one.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing an open house, I wanna post like a walkthrough video of that open house. And then I never do. I think I did a townhome for you and I recorded the walkthrough. And then I recorded like my voiceover of what I wanted to say for the whole thing. And then it felt too long. I never put it together. It just. How do I simplify that? Or I think I heard you say something about like get a 3-second video and then a bunch of shorter clips.
Yeah, I will, do you want to?
Well, I just, like, I'm not a big fan of those open house walkthrough videos, and this isn't like dissing anyone who does them, but I would never, maybe it's because I look at houses all day long, but I would never watch that video.
Yeah.
But the ones like that she was talking about, where it's like boom, 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 boom. And I used to do those videos. I was never in them, but I would span the room. And then I've noticed with CapCut, a lot of the templates are like super fast. So that's what I've been trying to do a little more of, and it takes the pressure off. I don't really have to say anything. And you're really more, are the 1 second or even the 3-second, is that like a moving video or does it matter?
So I always take videos because I can always pull photos from a video,
yeah.
right? So I try to take more videos than I do photos. And I take still videos, so like if I wanna take a picture or a video of a kitchen, instead of panning the room, I just still, and that's how you get the visually appealing second
Yeah.
videos. There's a time and place for the pan videos, I think, if you're putting together a compilation, but CapCut gives you templates already, which is really nice. I would say when you're going into an open house, if you go in taking like videos in with B-roll in mind, you could always like put together a compilation and you don't have to do a voiceover. I would honestly say putting a trending audio and talking about the house in the caption, or like over the video on an overlay, if you lower the exposure of the video and put text over it, I would say that you can do that. And that would probably perform better than it would if you did like an audio over it. And then you don't have to worry about it running too long, right? I would say between 30 and 60 seconds, I would not go anything over a minute.
The other thing I would say to that, Riley, and tell me if I'm wrong. Because I don't want to edit and, take 3 seconds here and then 1 second here. And then especially when you get to an open house, what if somebody shows up right away? You don't have time to do it. And then the open house is done. I mean, you could still do it, but you're not, if you're doing it to get people into your, whatever. That's why I would prefer to do a Facebook Live. Because then it's just one and done. And I don't know, maybe you wouldn't recommend that over, over doing a video. But for me and in my mind, at least I'm getting it done. And if I screw up, I screw up, and it's just, I don't have to mess with it anymore. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm a big fan, like in terms of open houses, I don't know like how much traction you guys maybe see, but personally, I think like if you put an open house on your story and if you say a poll, like, will I see you there? Yes or no, when you get people interacting. with that, I would say that works better than if you do like a video or a Facebook Live on just an open house. Now, if you're promoting like the listing and you wanna do a video, that's different, but separately promoting the open house from a listing. I think that's kind of tricky, because like someone could ask you about the listing and you want them to be aware of the open house, so I would say stories if you can do a post. But if you're promoting like a listing, I really like, people are posting right now, like POV, you bought a house in the middle of summer and now this is what your nights look like, and it's a picture of them at the bonfire, or POV, this is the kitchen that you fill on Christmas with all your family or whatever, like this could be yours, kind of getting people to picture those certain things. So if you're in an open house, just like you could, this is where a pan video could be beneficial if you pan a kitchen and say this is where you could cook breakfast for your kids one day, or something like that, if it's like a popular first time home buyer. I don't tend to watch the lives a ton, if I see them, I don't know, like, I guess I don't pay super close attention to how much traction you guys get on the lives and what that looks like, if you feel like people come. Stop those, but it's kind of be a personal
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
Based on.
That's, and honestly, I have not even looked to see how many people have watched it.
Yeah.
It honestly is more of I especially will do one if I'm friends on Facebook with the seller,
Yeah.
where at least then they feel like I'm, you know, if they're looking at my Facebook and I've done an open house at their house. They're like, well, you didn't, you know, I mean, maybe I've done, you know, you've done marketing for it or whatever, but I think they want to see that, so I'm like, well, it's better than nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is
Which
probably
I
not the
think
right attitude to
Which I
have,
think
but
sometimes is kind of how it is, because people aren't buying listings based off of social media, right? Like, I don't think I'd ever see a house on social media and say like, oh yeah, I want this house. I would maybe go to a real estate agent and say, hey, can you show me this house?
Yeah.
And so it is kind of an obligatory thing, right? Where you wanna see, and you do wanna showcase how, like what you're doing in the business and that you are active in the business. So I think open houses are a great way, but I would try to like look on other real estate agents or other real estate marketing social media, and they show like different ways that you can promote a listing other than saying like just list it or this. So I think there's different ways to do it, but it really is depends on what works for you, right? Like if you were to get like 300 views on your live, I would say, oh, keep doing it, right? Like if you were to get people in the open house by doing that, keep doing it. If you were getting people from a voiceover like video, 100% keep doing it. It is trial and error of what works for you and what resonates with your following. And the timing of the algorithm too, so. That would be my suggestion. Yeah,
how do I even see how many views?
should be able to see on the bottom right.
Grace, did you say that there's trending audio? I know you told me about trending. Well, sorry, when I say audio, I don't mean music. Is that what you're referring to when you said use trending audio?
Yeah, that's music.
Okay, thank you.
And, in order to get like the most amount of, like the most audio, I would make sure you have a creator account instead of a business account. If you have a business account, it won't give you all the audio because of copyright.
And that's on Instagram?
And Facebook.
Oh, okay.
That's why, which I think you're probably fine on Facebook because you use your personal use, but your business page, you wouldn't get the
Yeah,
same amount of
okay.
audio, because of copyright issues. So. Yeah. I think that's it. If we don't have any more questions, again, I'm always here. Stop by, feel free to bug me and ask me questions. My door's always open, usually. So. And I love talking about social media. As much as it's a love-hate relationship, I do. I like what it can do for your business.
I got 665 views on my live.
Oh, that's good. That's great.
I think that's more people than I have on all of my social medias.
Well, 664 for me, but
You just,
kidding.
while you were sleeping, you just kept it running.
Right, exactly.
All right.
Thanks, Gracie.
Yes, thank you everyone on Zoom. Let me know if you have questions. Feel free to shoot me a text or stop by.
All right.